Africa is being fought over right now by some of the most powerful people in the world. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the anti-Catholic Maurice Stopes International, the United Nations, even the Sustainable Development folks over in the Vatican, all trying to transform this beautiful land, these beautiful people, into something more in the image and likeness of a new world order. I recently went to Africa and honestly fell in love with this rich and storied land, these forests and plains, these deserts, these mountains, wildlife, and some of the most magnificent creatures I had ever seen. It's not difficult to imagine that here in Africa is where it all started. Here is where God created Adam. Here is where Mother Eve is buried. Somewhere here in Africa, the Garden of Eden still lies shrouded in mystery. The continent is inhabited by well over 1 billion people, half of whom are Christian, many of whom are Catholic, thanks to the great missionary priests of the glorious pre-Vatican II era. Today, numbered among her most successful missions are those still operated by traditional Catholic priests and nuns whom dedicated their lives to feeding and educating the children of Africa. I visited their missions, where I discovered hope, not only for me personally, but for the whole world, for the future of the church. I climbed her white mountain, I climbed to the roof of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, and then returned to my country, absolutely convinced that Africa represents the future of the Catholic Church, and thus the hope of the whole world. And somewhere along the line, I met Kefas, a mountain guide from the Maasai tribe. Though he is not Catholic, Kefas and I share something in common, something fundamental to all men on earth, I suppose, something that made us brothers as Kefas had guided us up Mount Kilimanjaro, 20,000 feet above the clouds. And that thing that united us is a love for family and a profound defensiveness of our familial and cultural traditions. But there was something else that united Kefas with me, the fundamental desire to be left alone, to be free to love our wives, love our children in peace, to educate our families in peace, to keep and maintain our cultural and familial traditions handed down to us by our fathers, and to demand that the outsiders, the one-worlders, the New World Order globalists and modernists simply leave us alone. Before I left Africa, Kefas and I had a chance to sit down and talk about these unifying things, the things that unite guys from opposite ends of the earth, even and perhaps especially today. Ironic, isn't it? Uniting the clans against the enemies of tradition is a universal concept that transcends skin color, nationality, African and American. In the shadow of Kilimanjaro, and what we want more than anything else now, as we discuss in the following interview, is to be left alone. Kefas, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
The reason I wanted to, as you know, the reason I wanted to talk with you is very interesting. Yeah. I run a Catholic TV, YouTube kind of thing back in the States. YouTube channel. And you were talking to our group one night at dinner.
Yeah.
And you began to say some things that I found really fascinating. So if you could, first of all, just tell me a little bit about something about yourself. You live here in Arusha, right?
Yeah. Actually, thank you very much for this opportunity, just to have me on front of the cameras and talking about our country, but also about our tribes. Like, I would like to talk about Maasai. I'm a Maasai, right?
Tell people what that means. That's the name of your tribe?
Say again?
Is that the name of your tribe, Maasai?
Maasai is the name of our tribes.
Okay.
So Tanzania, we speak Swahili as a national language, but we have 126 different dialects, right? So Maasai are way different compared to Swahili.
I see.
But Swahili is just like a big umbrella where the nation is. But under that umbrella of Swahili, there are more than 126 tribes in this country. So we just, when you go to public areas, we speak Swahili. But when you go to our motherland, where we came from, you know, we speak our mother tongue, which is I am a Maasai.
I see.
Yeah. So actually Maasai, we are not original to this country. We came from Egypt. Yeah, so we came through the River Nile. And we are a nomadic tribe. We keep stock life like cattle, like talking about goat and sheep and cows, you know. Those are kind of our animals, domestic animals, which we keep them. So we came along the River Nile all the way to Kenya. So Kenya was really a very green area. So we settled a life there. And then later on, start getting other people start coming to that area. Actually, Kenya wasn't a name like Kenya, you know. This Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda was just a one border called Tanganyika. So these names came later, and yeah, after the colonies, you know, like talking about British and German. So they put those kind of borders. So then came Kenya, Tanzania, Tanganyika, and Uganda. So when you get to Kenya, most of the places are named by Maasai in Kenya, right? And then later on, when it started getting popular, like population, people came. The Maasai, according to the kind of the lifestyle life, right? So we move forward to Tanzania, to Serengeti, and we spread all over Kenya and Tanzania. So that's how we get to this country.
So just driving around today, we came from Mount Kilimanjaro. There were a lot of churches, a lot of Christian places. I noticed the Holy Ghost Father's medical thing is just down the road. The Vatican Pharmacy is just down the road.
Yeah.
What would you say? Are most people in this area, in your area, mostly, are they Christian, would you say?
In town, yes, mostly people in this mainland are Christian, right? But when you go to village where I came from, right, still not really, people are not religion at those areas. But we still have our way of believing. And talking about my tribe, we still really own like those culture stuff. And
that's what I was so interested in you talking about. You mentioned that you sit around in the evening around a fire and tell stories.
All these stories which I'm telling you, which I get from my elders, my grandfather, during the evening when we sit around the fire, you know, it's really a nice one. So I go back to village and get these opportunities of learning a lot through my elders, my grandfathers there. So we are really a tribe in this country who we still really like to be us. We don't want to change. We don't like to change. So most of this, when I'm talking about this 126 tribes, the other tribes already for sure look like a Western. For us as a Maasai, we still way far away with a civilization stuff, talking about West being
preserving your culture.
Yes. So we still really honor that. Like we don't want to leave our culture, and we still practice culture stuff in a village. And the worry now is the education. You know, most of our parents and even a new generation in our families, they don't go to school because school bring a lot of changes. People look like they are slaves. So the big family is okay. So in a big family, because of the force of the government now, like you have to take your kids to school, it's just like they can take 2 or 3 of let's say when you have 35 kids, they can take like 4 of them to school and counter them like a lost one, because they won't come back to the village and practice those culture and traditional stuff. So the remaining one, more than kind of like a 31, they will keep stay in a village and practice those culture and traditional stuff, because we still nomadic. We are nomadic tribe, so we move with the cows during the dry season, so we can move to where the rain is, so we can get a green pasture for cows and goat, and then later on we may back for our parents. So for this kind of movement, even the schools, it's easier to skip school because they can go away. So even when the government try to come look for, they can't find anyone around at home. So this is the way the society managing to keep the traditional ways and stuff like that.
So essentially your children that are educated by their parents and grandparents for a long time. You mentioned your own grandfather has something like 100 grandchildren.
Yes, more kind of like a 200.
Yes, but so one of the things that interests me about your story is that it's reminiscent of, very different, because I'm from the United States, but we too are trying to preserve our Christian culture, and it's becoming very difficult. Governments are against homeschooling, like you mentioned, educating your children the way you want to. Do you find do you resent people at the United Nations or wherever else kind of treating you like you don't have the rights in your tribe to continue to hand down the traditions and cultural heritage of your fathers because you need to do this and that to appease the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and that sort of thing? Because we hear a lot about that. They need to come down and rescue you from your lifestyle. And that's kind of what they're trying to do with us. Does that make you angry?
Yeah, it's really annoying because and that's for us, we just say, if you want to help people, help them to improve them lifestyle, like them culture and stuff. Don't try to help them and change them to be like you. Wherever they bring anything, they come with some reason. They give you help, but behind the scene, they have something they want you to change completely. So probably all this is being there because of the control. They want to control everything. But talking about our tribe Maasai, it's really like, it's not like we are poor. No. It's just like a lifestyle. It's just like, when you lose your language, you lose your identity. It's just like you becoming a slave. So that's our elders, and they are against that. Like, we have to hold our traditional, we have to hold our culture and make sure they can identify us like us. So that is our identification, our tradition, our culture is our identification, and it's work in our society. So we see the successful, and that's why to our parents, to our elders, they are really very careful about schools. They are not happy sending kids to school, not completely. They just happy to let kids grew up in a society where they can learn a culture and traditional stuff like that, which really help than school. Because if you come to town where the school is available and kids go to school and stuff like that, they already misbehave. Everything is done there are no hierarchy respect there. But go to village where people didn't attend to school, you can see the life is there. So that's, to me, makes sense, because when I go back to my village, I see really the sense of humanity there, and life is really there compared to town.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting because what they want to do to your people, to us, to change everybody to be, as you say, exactly the same and believe in everything.
Yeah.
And this doesn't translate into happiness.
Yeah.
People in our country, it's drugs and it's suicide and it's all. And I was noticing driving around a little bit the city here. Some people might say that looks like poverty. There are cows and sheep alongside. But one of the things that I noticed was everybody seemed so happy.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
In other words, the Western ideas may sound good, but do they make people happy? Do they make, you know, what you're talking about is a true happiness, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, and that's that's Mike is another things we keep thinking about it. Like people in town, they have big phones, they have big houses, and they have everything, but they are really so sad every day. They have a sadness life. But go to village, when I'm talking about where I came from, the big guy have a big family and cows, but they live just in a not permanent house, just a small house, but they are very, very happy. So to me, that changes which Western or the government try to force the society of Maasai to change to be like others tribe, like try to say like, you know, this is the good life. Maasai keep refusing, like, you know, we have a good life. We are happy. Yes, here we are very, very happy. Yeah. Tell us, are you happy because you have everything? We see you guys are not happy, killing each other every day here and there. Right. But here we don't kill each other. We don't even kill wild animals because Maasai doesn't eat even wild animals. Okay. They keep eating the livestock, like cows and goats and stuff like that. So we're refusing that, and that's why also I'm saying that life is good as long you're happy. Yeah. But it's not life is good as long you have everything.
Rich.
No,
yeah, exactly.
No, it's not life is good because your account is reading this and that.
Yeah.
It's not life is good because your color is here and there, or you come from this state and that. No. Life is good as long you're enjoying it.
I was listening, I can't think of the woman's name. She's an African woman and she's quite famous, and she's very upset with the fact that these Western ruling elites are telling them they can't have large families. You should stop having large families in Africa to save the planet or something. She was so upset. She said, this family is everything to us. That's how we sustain ourselves. That's how we're happy. We don't need the government. We need family.
Yeah.
And they said they don't want to give you that.
Yeah, it really like, that's why also for our government and stuff like that, they, you know, Western try to control the government, so the government will come down to people and people will start being treated like to becoming more like Western. Mm-hmm. So that's we see, but we keep refusing those kind of stuff because for us in Africa, life, the family is your life. Right. The family is everything. And that's why I'm saying also to you that even kids belong to the society. It's not belong to you. Mm-hmm. Everyone is a teacher in a society. So everyone could watch and teach your kids, so to let everyone behave in a society like how the traditional and culture should be.
Everybody hands down the tradition.
Yes, everybody is hand down there. So compared to town or to you guys, it's just like your family. You can treat your kids the way you want, just like they can behave outside wherever they want. But here it's just like way different. But I'm very happy even to this country, Tanzania, because 75% of people, they still live out of town. Mm-hmm. They live in the villages where still life is there. Mm-hmm. I can tell you, life is there. In town, we keep fighting each other. We keep trying to corrupt, to have this and that. But still, every day you kind of like you need to keep having and need to keep having. You're ready to kill each other just to keep having. But in town, in village, just not like that. So
is it possible for you to keep Western influences such as music and movies away from your children, which could be corrupting and anti-traditional?
Yeah. I'm very happy because even in a village, there are no electricity. There are no cell phone towers. So it's just like that. There is just like you have to interact to people, not to phone, like that. So that is one thing which is corrupt kids in town, where there are those talking about movies, talking about TVs, talking about cell phones and stuff like that, because we keep watching outside there what is going on because of this technology and stuff like that. So It's very hard in town, again, because they have access. If you don't give them to your house, they go to your neighbor, they go to school, wherever, so they can get access to this kind of stuff which corrupt the mind. But way back to village, go to our village, there are no those kind of stuff. And that's why in the evening we can just sit down with make a big fire and sit down there around 2 to 3 hours, just keep talking and laughing. And later on around 10, we go to bed. And when wake up early in the morning and start walking to our life. It's not like wake up in the morning and start touching your phone and stuff like that. So that to me makes sense. And actually, where I live, my father, when he came there, wasn't a city completely, wasn't a town, wasn't even people. So we used to farm there and keep those animals, but nowadays it's not really. So my father decided to back to the village just to keep to make sure he continue with his life. So that's why to me I'm keep saying to myself daily that I will go back to village.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I'm thousands of miles away from you, living in the United States, and I feel exactly the same way. Yeah. Leave me alone. I moved out into the country. Yeah, everything they touch, they seem to break and harm. Like they think, you're a black man, I'm a white man. We're supposed to hate each other according to them, so that they can somehow control everything. Yeah. But you just took us to the top of the world in Mount Kilimanjaro. Yeah. My life was in your hands, and you and I are brothers, and we have conversations like this. Yeah. If they would just leave us alone, I think the world would be a much better place, don't you?
Yeah, I can tell you, the world would be a paradise place to live, to say so. But because of this kind of control, people who up there, they call them deep state, wherever, they try to make sure they have everything on them corner so they can switch a button and everyone sing them song. And that's why to us it's just like we are really say that we are one, but we can't be the same. Everyone have a different environment. And that's the big mistake they keep doing every day. They don't come and ask people what they want, or people are ready for them help. No, they keep bringing what they think is the right to others, but it's not necessarily your right to be my right. Yeah. No. You have to ask me and look the environment, right? So it's and again, and that's what I'm saying. Probably wherever they walk around these villages where Maasai are, as I told you, Maasai live with wild animals year and years because they came with them. They came crossing those wild animals areas. So they are very, very friendly with wild animals. That's why wherever you go, talking about national park in this country, in Kenya, Maasai been there before, and later on the government took them out and make those areas to be national parks. Yes. But still, wherever the Maasai are being pushed, they keep get out of people, get out of civilization. They don't, electricity, they don't want. Water, easy access to water, they don't want, because they know those are things which may invite the population. Sure, yeah. Yes, the people will start coming and look for and destroy the environment. Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking about this tribe which are nomadic and they keep this livestock, for them they don't destroy the environment. They don't cut tree because they are not farmers. They just need to see these big bushes. Like one person can have 500 acres of bush, big trees, just to keep cattle, like free range. They can, when you have these 5,000 cows, you just need to have a big area to let them keep feeding themselves. So I don't see, they conserve nature, they don't destroy. But when we come to talk about even a global warming, is this because of the population of people, and it's kind of like everyone is in town and everyone looking to be rich and to look for this and that, so that's the kind of destroying the environment. So Maasai doesn't do that, and that's why even to our country, we have a lot of talk with the government, like, why you keep pushing us out? Don't do that, because we don't touch anything. We live with animals, we are conserving the nature, we don't cut trees, but these people keep bringing, they cut tree and build houses. For us, we don't need a house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can see my point is, what I'm trying to say here is just like, it's better if you want to help or if you want to do anything, let them improve them the way they are. Yeah. Let them improve the culture, the talking about traditional. Yeah. That will help us to have a safe world to live. Yeah.
Well, I'm so grateful for you taking some time to talk to us. I know going up Kilimanjaro with you and your team was, I wouldn't have wanted for 1 second for you to change anything about what you do culturally. Even like the music, when you introduced the porters to us by song, these things touch us deeply. We realize there's something so rich and beautiful to discover here. I hope you're successful in preserving your tradition, just like we're trying to preserve ours. And I also want to just thank you once again for taking us to the top of Kilimanjaro. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome, and we're very happy to have you this week, taking you on up to the Mount Kilimanjaro. Our job as a guide, so we're very happy and hopeful that more people will come. But I keep saying to you guys, like, a thing is to our traditional, to save the tradition and all that stuff. You keep talking about this, like, don't tell people not to come to Africa and thinking like Africa are foolish and they don't know anything, so they try to teach them. No, I keep saying to myself, like, black color is good because the white color is there. Yellow color is good because the red color is there. But if everything will be white, then nothing you can see the difference. Yeah, so for me, I think so it's really very, very important to empower people the way they are and let them have them lives without touching them. And that's why we are very happy with the Trump. Days of Trump, we was saying Trump was not really ready to interfere in the country. He was just like, let each country solve them problem, and us as America, we can try to solve our problem. We don't need to engage us in any war in Africa and stuff like that. So that was a good move we see in Africa. We were saying, okay, now we can have a rest, because we know all the war going on in Africa and unsettled life going on in Africa. We know someone somewhere engineer and keep funding those groups who are fighting sibling war, which is going on in Congo, go to the other countries. People keep fighting every day. In Africa, people keep dying every day. And this is not a thing which we are happy to, but we know that someone somewhere, they keep funding and they keep enjoying that blood, which is people keep died everywhere.
It's interesting that you mentioned Trump. I don't know if you remember Pope John Paul II, who was the Pope of the Catholic Church a few years ago. And he said, before he died, that Africa would save the church. And that's one of the reasons that we came, because there's so many things happening in Africa, like this, like the conversation we're having now, that give hope to the West, because the West is dying. Yeah. America's dying. Western Europe is dying. There's no future there. Yeah. And there is future here. And even the African Catholic bishops, they have, I don't know if you're paying attention to that or not, but they have been very strong, even resisting the Vatican. Yeah. When the Vatican is starting to throw the Bible away on some moral issues. It's the African bishops who are standing strong. Yeah.
I remember actually they were just ready to be splitted, like, let you be Europe church and let us be African church, but we can't go your way. Mm-hmm. And so that's that really Africa we still, but my worry is just like the way things are being keep push. So I think so we have to get a point and to agree each other, like, you know what, they should not keep pushing and bring those Western stuff to Africa, and let Africa be Africa, and that will save the world. That will save the world for sure.
Beautiful place to end this interview. Thank you.
Yeah, I can
so
see.
much. God
Yeah,
bless you.
thanks very much, and it was my pleasure to have this interview here.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you next year. Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, next year once you come here, you will see me,
Alright.
and we will see each other. Hopefully, you will bring a big bunch, but also probably next time once you come to Africa, you'll get a chance to go to the villages where I came from, and we will walk around there, and you will see actually how life is there, personally, but also you will experience a lot.
You're a traditional African, or a traditional American. The tradition's alive.
Yes, for sure. I'm very happy for that. Yeah. Nothing will change me, and nothing for sure. And that's why I keep dreaming back to my life, because it's kind of like a life in town is someone own my life in town, so I have to back somewhere where I can live my life.
Deal with it. You never back down, and I'll never back down.
Yeah. Yes,
We'll
for
change the
sure.
world eventually.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.